This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
And we're here, as we are every week, every Sunday, giving you gaming news on Twitch and YouTube, then archived for your viewing or listening pleasure on YouTube and your favorite podcasts.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So this is another week of somewhat sparse news, but we're going to fill it out. We're going to talk.
Sure.
We're going to sit here and be nerdy.
Always
because
helps.
it's what we do.
Always helps. We're nerds, I think.
And we actually do. I can preface that by saying we have breaking news. As of this morning, so there's a Venn diagram, and you have Spotify users here,
yes,
and you have Rocket League fans here, and right there in the middle is people who are really excited because Volume 2 of the Rocket League soundtrack is now available on Spotify.
Yes.
And it includes what you and I thought was like the title track,
yeah,
which is Hollywood Principles Fireworks. And once you hear it, you'll know the one we're talking about, and it's beautiful.
Yes.
And I don't know if it was copyright issues or what.
I don't know.
There's a couple of files in there that I'm less excited about. I don't really like the ones with like the rap lyrics and stuff. I like the lyrics to kind of take a back seat to what's going on.
Yeah, it's more EDM style, which I think really works for Rocket League.
Yeah.
I mean, you're playing. You want something that gives you that feel while you play, but you don't want or while you're getting ready to play, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want. It's not supposed to be like I don't know. It's not supposed to be Tony Hawk or NBA jams where it's just in your face. It's supposed to be
Burnout.
Yeah,
it works so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Volume 2 is out, and I uploaded a playlist called Full Rocket League Soundtrack. So if you're on Spotify, just download that, and then you'll have both tracks. And I'm probably going to remove the ones that we're talking about where it doesn't really work as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about that, and that just popped up this morning when I was maybe a little bit late because I was Rocket Leaguing.
I was Rocket Leaguing right before you got here.
Okay.
So don't feel bad.
All right, I'm good.
The big news again this week, obviously Pokemon Go stuff is going on.
And there's been a couple of developments in this because the first piece of news, the first thing that I put in our doc was Pokemon Go is gathering excessive information. This was something that came out after we've been up and doing things for a while.
Yeah.
And it got really confusing for a little bit because at first people were saying, oh, well, Pokemon Go is stealing all my information and nonsense. And it was not really.
Yeah, so it turned out that essentially the agreement said, hey, we want to take all this stuff, we want to get all this stuff from you. They were never gathering any of that information. They didn't have any.
Yeah, the difference is that the app had permission to access this information, but there was nothing in the code of the APK or whatever it is that...
API.
No, okay, API for Apple?
No. So an API is a computer interface that basically says it's what the Counter-Strike guys are getting in trouble for with Steam. So that says Steam basically has an API that says, hey, if you want to access information, this is how you do it.
Okay, but I download an APK to my Android and install it. No, it's an APK before you install it. So that's what I thought it was.
We're talking about two different things. Go ahead, and I'll tell you what API is later.
Not worried about
it. Right here.
It.
No, it's important. It's important.
Okay. So I download
an APK.
That's a file. .apk
that's a file. That's different.
And then I install that, and that creates an API.
No, APIs are within within programs that allow it to access servers.
Semantic differences.
No.
No, for the sentence that I'm saying.
It's very important, and you nerds out there know what I'm talking about. So ultra geeks, not nerds, but ultra geeks, people who are in computer sciences. So basically, an API is part of a program. It's a protocol used between a program and a server to get that information.
The protocol.
To get that information.
The protocol is the API. The program as a whole is APK.
Yeah.
Semantics. Again. Semantic nonsense. You've played Final Fantasy VI. You know
Yes.
your lines. Semantic nonsense.
Wait.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Treasure hunter. Anyway, if you're not watching Patrick play Final Fantasy VI
For the first time.
I highly recommend that.
Yeah.
Because
I may or may not be drinking every single time.
Yeah.
So you can come watch that.
And-
Which I've
and I-
had quite a few people say that they really like that aspect.
yeah,
of it.
that was fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, so basically what it was that while the program had permissions
Yes.
via the API to access parts of your Google account, there was nothing in the code of the APK that actually accessed that information. Am I using it correctly? Did I learn anything?
No, but it's okay.
Okay. Teach me later. Anyway, so that's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
Is that it starts out and it's like, oh, it's getting all your information, and it's
It
not
scared
really.
the heck out of people.
It had access to it, but it wasn't accessing it.
Yeah.
And it's a small difference, but it is a significant one because it means that they're not arbitrarily and malevolently
Yeah.
picking up your information.
Exactly.
So that's been coded out as of the last patch.
Yep.
So even before we
And-
got a chance to bring this to you.
And Google already said they're gonna make sure that so on their end,
Yeah.
because they know how big Pokemon Go is.
Right. And if you're following us on Twitter, between those two events, I actually posted a thing that was telling you how to remove access from your Google account from the actual server. So
Now you don't need to, but you could if you
no,
want.
but what I'm saying
Yeah.
is that our Twitter account is helpful and important
Yes, it is.
because I'm in charge of it, and I like to feel helpful and important.
Yep.
All right.
So, something that came up, and I'm grabbing my thing for this. Where is this?
So the next news we have is crates are coming to Rocket League, and that means
Yes.
that you can earn a bundle basically that allows you to grab groups of antennas or flags or what have you, and those are the things that you earn after every match.
Yeah.
So for me, like I already got the platinum, and I'm already starting to get double of some of the things that I have. So
I mean, I get it, like it's cosmetic stuff, but at the same time, I don't care
yeah.
because I don't care what. I mean, if it was a car body style, which I haven't seen, it's all been like hats and exhaust fumes and stuff like that, which I don't personally care about that much. What I prefer, I mean, I don't care about those. All I want to do is play the game.
Yeah.
So I don't care what I look like.
Well, I mean,
other than my car.
Team Fat is available from the beginning,
Yes.
and that's the only one I needed, and that's been on my car topper every time I'm not using like
Yeah.
the Batmobile or something that doesn't have a flag.
And that's on there.
Yep.
I don't use any flags. The exhaust thing, it's probably I think it's one of the generic ones. I was using the flowers one for a little while
The
because
flowers one is fun.
I liked it because of the sound, because of like the sitar kind of
Yeah.
sound to it. Which is
I
really
like
cool.
that one, and I like whenever you do. I want to isolate this sound file,
Mm-hmm.
but whenever you do the Christmas presents one, it goes ho ho ho, and I like that.
It's really I like it because it's really quintessential. It's not quintessential. It's what I think of when I think of Santa's laugh.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Very, and that's what I want to have because I mean my kids aren't going to watch this. I have one of my cousins saved as Santa Claus in my phone, like with his picture, with the ho 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 ringtone and everything. Like it's all set up.
That is perfect.
And actually, they called Santa Claus last night.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, so that was fun.
They did.
So
Like halfway through the year.
yeah. So shout out to Alex, who is my Santa Claus, and girls, if you watch this, I do not apologize because you loved it. So yeah,
They'll find
Crates
this. They'll find
coming
this.
to Rocket League.
Yeah.
And they also did a bit of a what do you call it when you're trying to say don't worry about this, it's okay.
Yeah.
They've already said that these are not going to be able to be transferred, shuffled,
Yes.
gambled, basically, because they don't want to fall into the same.
The CS:GO guys that
Yeah.
are that are
And
getting in
like
trouble.
and Steam has the ability to fight meaningless lawsuits to the point. I would imagine that Psyonic's legal team is not huge.
No.
They've got what 20 some odd people.
Yeah, I thought it was less. I thought it was like 16, but yeah,
Okay.
20 people maybe because now they're doing really good.
Yeah.
But to me, I thought that was great that they said that, and I do find it funny. Even after we did the last episode, I had people come up to me and say, I don't get it. What's the point? What's the controversy with the CS:GO, gambling? And I'm like,
Yes.
are you serious? Like, because if Mark Cuban came out and said, "Hey, I heard about this really great product for your car, blah blah blah," and everyone starts buying it, it turns out it was his company.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's a huge problem.
So Psyonix has 30 plus employees according to Wiki.
Good for them.
So yeah,
That's fantastic.
and yeah,
I like. So in addition, some of the next news that's coming out. I'm trying to get my thing queued up.
Okay.
One of our favorite companies,
yes,
absolute favorite
Drinkbox.
companies,
I
Drinkbox.
love Drinkbox.
Yeah, and Drinkbox is coming out with a
Came
bundle. Came out with, okay,
Yes,
sorry.
it
Came out with a bundle.
exists.
One of the big things that I'm looking forward to in this, because I played Guacamelee and I played a little bit of Severed, but I did not play Tales from Space.
Mutant Blobs Attack. That game is so fun.
I did not play this.
Yeah,
So-
it's fun and strange and weird, but like as you continue to go through, you just become more and more all powerful. And I won't spoil the ending, but it just keeps getting more and more ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. If you already own one or two of the games, it's not really worth it.
Yeah. I was gonna say I own. Well, actually no, I don't own. I only own Guacamelee, so I may pick up the bundle
Okay.
because it may be cheaper. I'll double check that.
Okay. But yeah, so that's highly recommended because those are exceptional games. If you have a Vita, it's a must buy. If it's financially figure outable, then go for it because those are wonderful games, and I can't wait to see what they're doing next.
They're a fantastic game company, and I'm loving that they come out with so much unique, creative stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's another thing that's admirable because there are companies that work and they figure out their thing. I mean,
Yeah.
Treyarch is masterful at what they do, and that is what they do.
yeah, Rockstar is the open world. I mean,
Yeah, I mean they'll
Bethesda. I mean,
yeah they'll introduce different mechanics and things. Bethesda has a very similar theme, and they'll kind of tack other stuff on with it, and the mechanics are a little bit different, but overall it's very similar.
Yeah.
Here we have a third-person side scroller with weird gravity and magnets, and the mechanics of what you can do with the actual blob itself is you can jump and you can exert force. You can
Okay.
move back and forth,
Yeah.
you can jump, and you can exert force.
Okay.
Those are all the mechanics that you have, and the other mechanics are built into the world.
Okay, cool. So
They-
you have to interact with different.
Right, and so like there'll be magnetic things that you have to like repel, and that's kind of, you can kind of float across surfaces that are deadly to you. Then you move to Guacamelee, and all of that is in you. You are inherently powerful, and you gain new abilities, and you reach a point where you're using back and forth all four of the face buttons and all four of the bumpers and triggers.
Yeah.
All of those do something different.
Yeah.
And then you come over to
an
Severed,
MMO. Yeah.
and it's a touchscreen game. Like they are just incredible, and I really enjoyed seeing what they're able to do. Going back one story though.
Sure.
Rocket League,
Yes.
Three Fields Entertainment. Very similar companies in that they're very small and they do something really weird because
Yeah.
people who are not really into soccer
Yeah.
love
Still
Rocket
love
League.
Rocket
Yeah.
League. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't love golf.
Yes.
Dangerous Golf is wonderful.
Yeah. We
And-
highly recommend that game.
Yes, and they also updated it this last week so that the restart is much faster.
Okay.
And like we've talked before about how Super Meat Boy, one of the reasons that it works so well is that if you fail, you're right back in the game.
Yes. Yes.
And before, whenever you did something and then you wanted to retry, it took about 25 seconds to reload. That was one of the first things that they were receiving feedback from the community of, hey, this thing. And they have been frantically working since the game came out. And as of now, the PC, Xbox, and PS4 versions all have
Decreased.
about a 5-second
That's
restart.
good. That's really good.
And it's and they also have a banner of their team of 11 people saying, "Thank you for buying our game. We like you. We hope you like." And it's adorable. I don't often use that word for developers, but it's adorable, and it makes me really happy.
It does. It does. So going from a very small company to a larger company, we got an announcement that there's a new Overwatch character coming out. And so she is a support sniper, Anna. I say Anna. I heard people say Anna, but that has it has one N, so therefore it's Anna to me. And you can argue with me in the comments. I like that they're adding more characters. I hope that they'll do this slowly because they have so many characters on this game right now that adding them too quickly will be a problem. So I'm hoping that this is like maybe one every couple months or so because what is it, 36 characters I think in Overwatch or something like it's crazy. I can't remember offhand, but it's a lot. I guess I'm used to the old school fighter games and stuff where you like, all right, here's your 12, then unlock, or like some of the later ones where it's like, here's your 28, and here's like that. It can be overwhelming to start, but once you hone a specific character and unlock them, then it's okay. So hopefully this, I like that they're doing that. I just hope that doesn't happen too often, both for the balance of the game, as well as for other people to realize what she can do, and if she's something that they want to play in Overwatch. Everyone kind of has their favorite characters. When they play games like this, like in Street Fighter. I mean, I loved Ryu. I could wreck with E Honda as well, but in this, you have certain characters you grab. Were you looking for her?
Okay, so the mechanics and stuff, that is interesting to a lot of people. One of the things that I've only found out about in the past week or so has been the lore of Overwatch.
Yeah.
It's really, really deep.
I need to dig into it more.
Anna, which I think is what you landed on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said Anna.
Okay, then I'll say Anna, and then one of us can be right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Anna is actually the mom of Faria Amari, who is, I think Faria is another one of the characters. And so like they have these interpersonal relationships that have really started to go up. And shout out to Gaijin Goomba on the Game Theories channel. Yeah. He actually went in to talk about Genji and Hanzo.
Okay.
And at first he was like, no, you've gotten this all wrong. And then he dug deeper, and they're talking about a different Hanzo Hattori. Yeah.
Okay.
And I highly recommend that video. And I
recommend Game Theory anyways. Game Theory is great.
Game Theory is
stuff.
amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that'll draw me into a game.
Well, that's why you like Tekken.
Yeah. Yeah. Tekken is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous in its story and everything, but the interpersonal, like the first Tekken, your spoilers for Tekken, the first Tekken, your protagonist. So the second Tekken, the protagonist of the first Tekken is now your antagonist.
Right.
It completely flips everything, and you got like the interpersonal mom and dad and stuff like that going on. It's good. It's good. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Tekken 7. That's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna look at it more. Another shout out on here to the Completionist, because he just did Tekken 2.
Really?
So you need to check that out.
Yeah.
Because I know.
I'll check.
I love Completionist. I mean, because he does spoil stuff, but I love how in depth he gets in his videos. It's just, I love how in depth he is and how energetic and into the games that he gets. So.
Well, Tekken 2 is one of the ones. Okay, so Tekken 2, 3, 4, and Tag Tournament. I beat the game with every character.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This was back before you could look up the endings online, and so I wanted to see all the endings.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, that was a fun thing. All right, so next up we have Worms, Weapons of Mass Destruction.
Yes.
It's going to be a crossover with a crapload of extra people, and
which
I think Team 17 is awesome, and they've been around forever.
Yeah. I think this is good for the Worms franchise because they're fun games.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of people who don't pick them up because of the simplicity. We don't mind. I mean, to me, if a game does something well, I'll play it. And whatever its goal is, and in this case, you have the 2D, explosions and everything. I love the games. Or I should say, I've appreciated the games, and I think this will bring more people in who've played Goat Simulator, who've played Rocket League, to use the tongue and all these different mechanics within the game. Is going to be really fun. I think it's going to be good for for the Worms, franchise as well.
Yeah.
I did not expect this at all.
No.
Have the Rocket League card. What, really?
Yeah. And a couple that didn't show up is Ukulele and Broforce, characters from that. And
Okay.
and I think Broforce fits so wonderfully into
into
what
that
is.
world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would love to just see Rambro just like tear through with just like run from one side of the screen to the other, and then you have to dodge your own weapon. And like I remember playing the games that led up to Worms, the Scorched Earth and the Project Planet Demolition.
I didn't play those.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a basic physics thing, and then they took it and they're like, hey, what if we were silly? And they just leaped into that full bore, and I really appreciate that, and I love how like we're talking about little developers. Little developers are some of our favorites.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, From Software is not a little developer. And they're my absolute favorite. But like, behind them you've got Psyonix, and you've got Three Fields Entertainment, and you've got Drinkbox, and like there's so many studios. AAA, you kind of know what you're getting in for. But Goat Simulator, nobody sees that coming, and
nobody expected that thing to just take off the way that it does.
yeah,
The way that it did.
it comes out of a game jam, and it's broken, and that's okay because of these other elements that get put into it, and I love that.
Yeah, it's good. One thing that I also love is companies that see their mistakes and fix them.
Yes.
And that's why I love FIFA.
Mhm.
Because the glitch that we talked about last week, it was last week, we're talking about the chemistry glitch that basically threw off the balance. You could take, and this is in the card drafty kind of aspect of the game.
Right.
You could take the lower level characters and boost them up to better than, as good if not better than the best characters in the game.
Yeah.
So it kind of ruined the point of having your ultra rare, great premier players, and
Which is what people spent a lot of money trying to get. You know, if you just have to have Ronaldo, okay, to have him on your team, that establishes you as a douche. but yeah, like they just kind of have this, and they bring it out, and then they're like, are bad.
Yeah.
We will work on that. We've acknowledged that, and it's entirely possible, in fact probable, that this is not something that they intended. Like you would have a different team because EA is such a huge team. It's a lot easier for somebody who's working on the chemistry is not going to be there with the people who are working on the cards, who's not going to be there working on the, and like, because you have so many different divisions, they might not be able to talk, and that's one of the things that kind of came out, because like last time I think I was a lot harsher on EA than maybe I should have been. So I'm gonna go ahead and come out and say that yes, and they have very quickly moved to fix it. The only thing I don't like is their phrasing in the way that they're putting it, because they didn't come out and say we messed up. What they did was they came out and said, we have heard that some people may have been talking, and like they danced all around it with, we've heard that they may have been talking about a thing that perhaps may not have been working as maybe intended, perhaps.
Yeah.
And we have pushed out a new patch that will improve perform. No,
word
just
salad.
say
Word salad. Sarah Palin
Yeah.
word salad is what it was.
Sarah Palin. Okay. So I think the bigger thing that's going to come for this is that FIFA 17, the next one that comes out, which is coming out in not too long. I think that they will need to make sure that doesn't happen again. And so that's I think the overall concept that comes out of this.
Yeah, and a lot of these games, just like the Madden games, will take what worked well from one game, move it over to the other one. So they should iron that out. Which I'm glad that they do. I'm glad that they did this, and they basically said, yeah, it's our, that is, it's an issue, our bad, let's fix it. Yeah, but then they're a big enough company to be able to do that relatively quickly. But at the same time, they're a big company, so I'm glad that they realized what was going on, and they appreciate the fans enough to say, we have to fix this.
Well, they're making more money off the cards than they are off of the actual game sales, which blows my mind. And so they have to be listening, because that is their golden goose. and they don't want it to wander off.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of,
I thought I was going to make metaphors or something. I saw you starting to.
I was thinking about that. All right, I was going to say speaking of that, when it comes to microtransactions, have you bought anything on Pokemon Go?
No, I'm planning on spending $10. Probably getting
Upgraded bag storage,
upgraded bag storage, and upgraded Pokemon storage. But at this time, I don't need that yet.
Yep.
I do want to get a couple more. I want to be able to do 3 of the walking incubator things because I've been full for 4 days. I've got 9 eggs and I can't get rid of them fast enough.
It's harder for you driving.
Yeah,
I mean,
like I can't. I've not yet been able to do an extended walking thing where I can take out a couple of those.
We did go to Addison Park and Addison Circle, and that place is a hot spot. If you guys have not, if you guys are in the Dallas area, I know a lot of us have been talking about that on Twitter and everything. There are, I want to say it's 5 or 6 that are over like with the benches, and then if you walk over into the park, there's a couple. But in that area, you can sit between like 2 of them. But the amount of lures that were going on, I ran out of. I had like 80 some Pokeballs and maybe 30 Great Balls. I ran out.
Yeah.
Like I was not getting enough from the Pokestops to. Yeah, there were every time that I would finish catching one, another one would appear on my map. So it was pretty amazing. We're doing the Lucky Egg glitch. If you guys, not glitch, Lucky Egg exploit. It's not an exploit, but basically getting a bunch of Pokemon ready to evolve. Track the Lucky Egg and then evolve them. So Whitney went from level 14 to level 18 last night, just from that, because she evolved. What was it? 5 Rattatas, 14 Pidgeys. Yeah, I mean it was insane.
The thing about that is it. And with this, we'll finish with Pokemon Go for now. The thing with that is you can just save up the candies indefinitely. So it's not even like you go until you run out of room. You can just save them up forever.
You can. You just have to make sure you have enough of the Pokemon that you're evolving. And that's why you have to make sure you have enough room for that. Yeah. She had 300 and some change Pidgey candies.
Jeez.
I mean, yeah, she still has more candies from those. So... if you're not doing that already, save them up, make sure you have enough. Basically, just look at the math and look at the numbers and say, okay, if it takes 12 candies to evolve a Pidgey, and I've got 48 candies, make sure I've got 4 Pidgeys, because that's division, and then you can evolve them later. Anyways, so we were talking about gambling earlier, and so both Valve and you mentioned Steam already, but Valve has also kind of opened up about this as well, saying that they don't condone it, that it's against their agreement.
They're not going to allow those users, and so you can't be as published.
Yep.
And then Twitch also is banning those people, and this is a positive for me. I mean, mostly I watch talk shows on Twitch, which is kind of yeah. But it's what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the whole gambling thing, it's the industry kind of cracking down on itself before like the head legals, because legislation is always going to be so far behind on this. Like, yeah. So this is they're just kind of taking care of this before it becomes something that you know. Because stuff like this, by the time you're getting like sued by the government or whatever, and they're making laws about you, this is something that could shut some publishers, not Valve, because Valve, but
it can be detrimental to developers, and it can also be detrimental to sites like Twitch. YouTube has Google behind it.
Yeah,
it's not really gonna bother. Twitch is the thing when it comes to online gaming streaming, but if they have a few missteps and legal problems, it may be enough that YouTube or another one takes over. The online market for this is volatile enough that someone else will try to sweep in there and take up that space. So I don't think Twitch wants to deal with it either, and Google doesn't want to deal with the legal ramifications either. No. So.
Speaking of Twitch though, and this makes me so happy. Twitch is transitioning finally away from Flash. Like they've got their apps and everything, so you don't have to try to do the haggard thing that you had to do at the beginning, where you had to like side load Flash onto your phone and then assume it was going to break everything. So they're transitioning away from Flash. Right now, it's only available. The new HTML5 player is only available for premium subscribed Turbo users, I think it's called. Yeah. And so, but they have the code and it will be implemented, and that's necessary.
Yeah, very necessary. I was surprised. I mean, it surprises me they're still using Flash, because the frame rate can really suck. We were actually talking about this before the show. The frame rate, you know, we're broadcasting right now at over 30 frames a second. We could broadcast, because we're trying to do 1080, so 1080, a little over 30 frames per second, and when I watch it online, it'll be 10.
Yeah,
so
it's not pretty.
Yeah, so I'm glad. I mean, I would like the frame rate to be as high as possible, but can't happen all the time.
Yeah.
Anyways, so some really good news, though, in my opinion, is that there's a Rick and Morty VR coming out. Why is this not?
Yes, it's coming up on Vive.
Yes,
and this looks like so much fun.
It looks like fun. It's hilarious. I'm guessing you just play as Morty the entire time. That way you can just really wreck stuff.
Yeah.
Makes me really, really happy. Whoops, that almost spoiled something. Makes me really, really happy. I just wish that it wasn't just coming to Vive. I haven't seen it said Vive. I hope that it'll come out to Sony VR and some others later, because I love Rick and Morty. Second season, I'm rocking. I'm about halfway through the second season on that. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's also another. Speaking of VR, and no, I never put that into the notes. Speaking of Vive, continuing, the Attack on Tatooine VR mission that was available at Star Wars Celebration is actually available now.
Trials on Tatooine?
Yeah, sure, whatever.
We got it right here.
Oh, do we?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So yeah, it's available, and I mean, it's Star Wars, so yeah, why not?
Yeah, and it's and they've expressed it more of this is less a game, more an experience, which that's cool.
Yeah, a lot of...
I'm okay with experiencing the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, I would be okay with experiencing, like, being able to experience and go into some of these areas. I don't even need combat with a lot of this. I'd do the same thing. I would do the same thing with Mass Effect and with Deep Space Nine. The Enterprise, that can be a little sterile, but to be able to walk around like the promenade, and I mean, I would totally do that.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. I think this VR, you're going to see more of games where they're more of an experience or more storytelling than they are gameplay, and more immersion.
And it's interesting that kind of that style with like Gone Home and Firewatch, and that's not Firewatch because that's a little bit newer.
The walking simulator, as some people are referring to them as.
But it's really interesting to me that that developed a little bit before VR really started to make its push, because that's perfect for VR, and that's I want to play games. I want to be a Jedi in VR.
Yeah,
obviously, but
we all want to be a Jedi.
Yeah, but there's also the, like, I don't know how long you've been able to play VR, but it does get tiring more quickly. I mean, eventually we'll figure it out, because like there were people when TV first came out, they were like, I can only watch it for half an hour at a time, and then my head starts to hurt or whatever, and that's probably because of radiation, but. But at the same time, this is a much more intense and next level experience, and so it works well for experience.
Yeah, I put it if you guys haven't checked out VR, but you've ever done live streaming where you're talking to people in the chat, which I've been doing with some games. If you haven't been checking it out, I've been streaming retro games on our Twitch channel, on this channel if you're watching on Twitch, and playing the game. I could sit and play the game, play Final Fantasy or whatever the game whatever game I'm playing for maybe like 4 or 5 hours. I mean, no big deal.
Yeah.
You get like 45 minutes or an hour into streaming the game, talking about the game, and all of that. It gets a little exhausting because you're mentally engaged so much. Your mind is trying to work on so many different things that I think that VR is kind of similar to that, and that's why going through Skyrim. I'm not going to go through like a 4 or 5 hour playthrough of Skyrim. I'll go, with VR. I mean, I don't think I could do more than like an hour at this point. But it's either way, it's a good thing. It's just like you said, it's new. Our brains aren't going to be used to it quite yet.
Speaking of Skyrim, though, okay, Pocket Sandwich Theater in Dallas. If you've never been, I highly recommend it. You need to buy your tickets early to get in, but it's a dinner theater where you buy popcorn and throw it at the stage, and audience participation is encouraged. They're doing a thing. It's a spoof on Lord of the Rings, but they had so many other, like they had Cake is a Lie and like all this other stuff thrown in, and at one point Gandalf took out the Saruman. They had different names in there, and those were jokes in and of themselves. But he took him out with a floss roll, and it was awesome. And I wasn't expecting it, and I laughed so hard. And Courtney was like, "Yeah." And like there was a couple of theater inferences or references that she caught that I didn't, and so yeah, it's a lot of fun and highly recommend it.
Definitely. We like to recommend things.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I'll recommend going back to do once they've started doing this is that in Star Wars Battlefront, they're implementing bots.
Yes, which is how I played Counter-Strike.
I was going to say, this is how I played the original Battlefront games.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved playing this, obviously, because I didn't have an internet connection to play online games when the first Battlefronts came out. But what I love about this is if you just want to jump in and you want to play some Star Wars and you don't want to be camped, you don't want to be completely mowed over by people who are a lot better than you, maybe you want to try out specific game modes that you don't know much about, you get the chance to do that. The Walker Assault and the Squadron ones are the first ones that are coming out with this. Walker Assault's a perfect one for this.
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to play Battlefront, to be able to play it, to be able to learn, it's basically what Jason Boyega was saying, and a lot of people have been saying, I need a mode to teach me the game. Yeah. And this isn't as, I love single player story mode, but this is a step in the right direction to say, okay, how do I mean, Rocket League has it. Rocket League, you can go up against a bot to learn the game. So in this, you could go up against the bots, and I'm assuming that they're going to have multiple difficulties, bring them really low level, and then go in there and learn how the map is, learn how different strategies, how to use a specific weapon. I was unlocking weapons on Battlefront, and I would go, I don't know what that does, and then I jump in online and realize, I don't like it, doesn't suit my style, and I got to keep playing for another 7 or 8 minutes to finish this thing. So you can switch, and that was before I realized you can switch loadouts, and I hadn't set up that. You have multiple loadouts you can switch after you die.
Right.
So.
Well, actually, so Battlefront was one of the ones that just kind of passed me by because
online multiplayer only.
Yeah. And so I skipped it.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, but this update is the one that makes me, because like it was, and I'm kind of bummed now because it was on sale 2 weeks ago. PlayStation, stop it! Too many sales. I'm spending all of my like I've spent like $100 in the past 3 weeks with their sales. Yeah. I don't even have time for the games that I already have. And like
I grab one because I'm like,
fantastic.
I need this in my collection. Yeah. And some of them get to a good enough price where I'm like,
And something that's not on sale, but if you have the Vita, you should pick up is Downwell. I'm not even going to try to explain it. It's weird. Okay, it's $5. I recommend it. Shuhei Yoshida recommends it. What more do you need?
So if you don't trust us, trust Shu. Come on.
We trust you.
Yeah. When you were texting me about that, and as soon as you said, Shuhei's playing it, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can dig it. I can totally dig it. Also with when it comes to Star Wars news, and this is breaking news as of, I want to say this morning, they announced the Death Star Battlefront expansion. So we had the Outer Rim. We're now coming up to Death Star, which I absolutely love to see the scope of the Star Destroyer, because Star Destroyers are massive. And I can't wait for this because I want a trench run. that's what I mean. There's a reason that it was one of the first Star Wars games to come out for video games. Was the Death Star trench run. It's so iconic. I'm hoping that it looks like this is the birth of the Death Star. I'm hoping we'll also get a second Death Star one, but that one would be very much on rails.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be kind of similar to spoilers for Episode 7. Spoilers where they're going for Starkiller Base, and you have a bunch of flying around. You have basically the Admiral Akbar stuff from Episode 6, where the actual squadrons that are going on, and then you get a specific opening. If you get to a specific part, then you can go in there, and they can try. Maybe the other people can try to keep you out.
Yeah.
It could be really cool, but maybe once you're in, it's like if they can't chase you down, you can beat them. I don't know. There could be ways to do it in multiple phases, but the first Death Star works perfectly.
Yeah.
The only thing that I don't like about it is if they do it accurately, then you're gonna have 16, 20 16 or 20 like X-wings and Y-wings, and then like all of the Empire stuff coming at them, because that was the whole point of the first Death Star.
Yeah.
Is it's not an even battle. It's the same thing with the walkers on Hoth, which we talked about the unevenness of that, and Battlefront was saying
you're supposed to lose.
You're supposed to lose, and people were like, "Oh, this isn't fair." It's not supposed to be fair.
No,
the
Empire wasn't going for fairness.
The Empire is an empire. The rebels are a band of people who randomly got together, who are now getting more. In Hoth, now you're like, oh, wow, they have capital starships now.
And they also get +10 to luck because of the Force. I mean, come on.
Because the Force is trying to balance everything out.
Well, any luck roll, they're going to be like, oh, well, the Force gets applied to it. You kind of apply +10 to the roll.
Because you Qui-Gon it?
Right.
Okay.
That's kind of how I interpret that.
Okay. Well, because you only got one.
Anyway. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Bots in Battlefront. Great stuff. I'm hoping that what this means, and I know. Actually, sorry, I scratched that. I know what this means is that when Battlefront 2 comes out, which I find funny that we're referring to it as Battlefront 2 because there's another Battlefront 2, but when the sequel to this Battlefront comes out,
Battlefront next.
No.
Prediction.
We're going to have this, and we're also going to have a single-player story campaign,
and I'll buy that one.
My guess is it'll be, 6 hours or so.
Yeah, that's fine.
5 hours, 6 hours. I'm fine with that.
I'll pay $10 an hour for a good Star Wars campaign.
Yeah, as long as you and tips for Valve Dice.
Dice, yeah.
Sorry, not Valve. Tips for Dice, who does the game. All you have to do is get all your maps and go, all right, storyline here. Or all you have to do is a little quick video intro and then auditory talking over when you're starting the campaign of the people telling me, hey, this is what your mission is, and while I'm running,
you
I
say
need
that,
voiceover.
you say that, but that's basically what they did for Titanfall, and nobody appreciated it as a single-player campaign because they have the mission.
It's an hour and a half long.
They have the mission. Okay, I'm just saying.
It was an hour and a half long, and all it did was say, all it did was a tutorial.
Okay.
Did you play that?
No, I'm just going off of things I read on the internet.
Yeah, it did do that. What it was is it was
I didn't
like,
realize it was an hour and a half.
Look, you can do. It's maybe 40 minutes of you outside of the mech, and then you get in the mech, and then it throws bot mechs at you to teach you different things, and then you have an actual legitimate fight, and then it's over.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't count.
No, that does not
See,
count.
that's why we have two of us, and why the shows are consistently better when I'm not by myself up here monologuing.
Or me, either way. But
yeah, we've established that we're maybe okay. We rate ourselves at maybe a 5 on the monologue scale.
Much better as a team.
Yeah.
So if you give me 6 hours and you have the voiceover contextualizing the battle and what's going on, and
we know the universe. We're set for that.
It's very easy. Everyone knows the universe. All you have to do is say, we have to get the plans because of da-da-da-da-da. Okay, I'll get those plans. Yeah. Whatever it is, give me that, and then give me a couple cutscenes, and then I'll be happy. I'll be really happy.
So moving on from that, we're now into the nebulous portion of news. In the doc, this is put as news time. So the first thing we have is Amy Hennig's game. She came out and talked about other stuff, but obviously everybody was like, hey Amy, Amy, hey Amy. Everybody wanted to talk about this. And so we have some basic statements of this is what we're going for with the game. This is what, and it's all vague. Like this, I'm fine with vague speak.
Yeah.
Because we're still 2 years away from this game. I don't want to know that much. So the news that came out of that is that her game probably has multiple protagonists that you can pick from because of her word choice. And that's basically all we've got on that. And like I'm gonna keep up with this for you guys, but like her game, I don't want to know. I will not watch trailers for you.
You want to experience it. I will watch trailers for you guys, and the trailers will be up here. So
absolutely.
You're gonna have to deal with that.
Stare at your gorgeous mug.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Glad we got that.
Don't let the shine bother you.
Yeah, I've gotten used to it.
I'm glad that
by
doesn't
now.
come up too bad on the camera.
And then the other thing is, I believe it was, I'm not going to say it, another country's site possibly leaked the release date for Tomb Raider PS4, which is November 10th, which is a year almost to the day when the first one came out, and they had a year of exclusivity. So this is kind of, yeah, that makes sense of how the other one came out.
It's been that long for Tomb Raider?
Yeah, Tomb Raider came out the same day Fallout did.
I didn't realize that. Oh, you said wait, hold on. Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So the year of exclusivity will be up in November, and so that's probably when we're going to get Tomb Raider on PS4. So yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yes.
Because they did have just a year of exclusivity. It pains me that this game had exclusivity there, because this game is really good, and Fallout came out and no one played it except for a handful of people who like Chris and some others who were like, I can play this for 20 hours or however long the campaign is.
Get through this and then
go on to Fallout, or then go on to whatever the other game is. Uncharted was kind of a similar thing. I think Whitney blew through it in like 16 or 20 hours, I can't remember. But the story's worth it though. That's the thing. If you give me a good enough story in that time, I'm fine with it. You don't have to be a 100-hour game, which I like 100-hour games. A lot of us don't have time for that.
Yeah. So things that also make sense is we forgot our new format, so I'm gonna change the topic on the fly, and we're gonna go back to the original topic that we had. In the future, what we're going to try to do is we're going to have kind of a topic of discussion at the beginning. Then you can think about it through the show and send tweets at us or put it in the chat or however you want to do it. And then at the end of the show, we'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm. And we'll read off what you guys sent to us. If you guys send us some cool stuff live, we'll read it to you. So on Twitter and Twitch.
And I mean, right now we have few enough viewers that even if you send stuff that's not cool, we'll still read it on the air.
We'll probably read it. So you should do it.
So the topic that I had for this week's episode is, if you could tour any game developer, who would you want to visit for one day? Assume that you'll have a translator with you, because that opens it up, because otherwise you're stuck with only American developers or English. Who would you want to visit for a day?
Am I allowed to see everything?
Yes. You have unfettered access to the entire developer's room.
So
you can talk to all of them. You can bug them while they're sitting there trying to work and make the beautiful games that we want to play.
There are two that I want, and so my gut reaction was Bethesda, because I want to know more about. And they say they're not working on the new Elder Scrolls. They're working on another Elder Scrolls. Come on, people. They're going to work on. They're in preliminary phases of that. I know that's probably what they're doing. They're in the planning phases, which is why I kind of want to go there.
Yeah.
But another part of me says Blizzard. Because of how not it's and the reason I didn't pick these guys because they're big companies. I picked them because of the lore. Both of my answers, both of those answers were based on, I could go in there. I don't care about looking at the game. I want to talk about the worlds. I want to talk about oh, you're creating this.
Yeah.
Why does this work? Why does this not work? That creative aspect of the storytelling and writing is really interesting to me. So to be able to go into Blizzard and, like I said, unfettered access, so I can talk to anybody, go in there and go, oh, so you guys put up a thing on, I don't know if you saw, they put up a thing a week and a half ago saying we're looking for people for developers for Diablo. And to go, all right, what are you really working on for Diablo? Because Diablo 3, I don't know if you knew about this, Diablo 3 is one of the top 10 best-selling games of all time.
I was unaware.
Yeah. Most people were unaware of it. You can go check on that.
That's right. I'll fact check you on the
Go
air.
fact check me on the air. It made a ton of money. A lot of people didn't realize that. Yeah, look that up. I think.
There's a
Pretty
lot
sure
of
it's like
qualifiers.
pretty sure it's like 8 or 9.
Just
I'm pretty sure it's like 8 or 9 on there when I was looking. Hopefully that it's updated enough. But I know that they're going to be working on another Diablo, and what I'm hoping is that it's a Diablo MMO. And people were like, "Oh, well, Diablo 3 is an MMO." No, it's not. I want World of Warcraft in the Diablo universe. There it is.
Number 10.
Number 10. I was close. So it is number 10.
Well, you said
I said top 10. I said top 10. So 30 million copies sold, and this is Wikipedia. So obviously, it's
a little bit behind.
It's a little bit behind. Diablo. I love Warcraft. Don't get me wrong, but I played the heck out of Diablo and Diablo 2. I even played the Sierra expansion to the original Diablo, where you could play a monk, and the gameplay wasn't very good at all.
No, but it was new and different, and we had never seen this before.
And Blizzard works on a lot of stuff behind the scenes that may or may not ever see the light of day, like Titan, which who knows, and Ghost. So StarCraft Ghost. So
well, Titan became Overwatch. They took out the life side of it and developed it into.
Yeah, they took the visuals and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So who would you tour?
My two are at the.
From?
Yeah, obviously. But my other one is going to be Ed McMillan.
Yeah.
I want to go sit down and talk with him because Ed McMillan is the guy who did Super Meat Boy, who did Binding of Isaac. He's working on Bumbo and whatever that other project is. Those of you who are like super into him know the one I'm talking about with the black and white and the round and the weird and the jumping and the shooting and the jetpacking. I would really enjoy just getting to sit down and talk with him because and Finger. Did you see that one?
Haven't seen that.
That's what. Okay, that's one that's available for like 99 cents, and you're given like witness statements.
Okay.
And then you're trying to point out who's guilty.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And you can beat it.
I love Phoenix Wright.
You can beat it. Yeah, but this is more of a.
Like
witnesses
serious.
are not helpful.
No, they're not.
This is like you so you interview somebody and it'll be like, yeah, you pointed at this one. That grandmother was a racist, so you're kind of a racist too.
Yeah.
And it's just this quick little. It's basically a flash game again, and so it's just kind of drawing out the problems and some of the issues with. This system that we have is not good enough. A lineup is not really helpful.
No.
Why are we still doing police sketches? And
eyewitnesses are more unreliable than they're reliable.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that a lot of police departments, a lot of larger police departments are realizing this. So during the shooting and during the Black Lives Matter protest in Dallas, they were talking about this on NPR. They said that they had 40-some people who gave different testimonies. Some of them said there were multiple white people in SWAT gear, and like they had all these kind of ridiculous out there things that they thought were happening because of what was going on, because of the tension, because of the stress you're under.
Yeah.
And they said only four of the testimonies that they got had anything helpful, and really all they got out of it was above, maybe, and they don't know how many people it was.
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to there were multiple rooftops and all this. So witness testimonies suck.
Yeah. There's a quote from Memento. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. This is not spoiling it. But it says, the dialogue, we'll read this dialogue, and you'll be Teddy, because I get to do the lines.
I'll be Teddy? Okay.
Yeah, you're Teddy.
Lenny, you can't trust a man's life to your little notes and pictures.
Why not?
Because your notes could be unreliable.
Memory is unreliable.
Oh, please.
No. Memory's not perfect. It's not even that good. Ask the police. Eyewitness testimony is unreliable. The cops don't catch a killer by sitting around remembering stuff. They collect facts, they make notes, and they draw a conclusion. Facts, not memory. That's how you investigate. I know, it's what I used to do. Look, memory can change the shape of a room. It can change the color of a car. Memories can be distorted. They're just an interpretation. They're not a record. They're irrelevant if you have the facts.
That's exactly right. Especially if you have someone who's phrasing the questions the right way.
Yeah. Leading questions and yeah.
How fast was the car going before it crashed into the whatever?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, gee, yeah, it was really speeding. Or as opposed to, was it moving? Was it? What was the speed of the car when it did hit this?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, well, it's actually.
Yeah, and there's so many things. Yeah. But anyway, that's the point, and that's the reason that I would like to get a chance to just sit down and talk with him. Plus, I want to see what he's working on, and I would love to get to see the projects that he worked on for a little bit and then went, not that one.
Yeah.
Because
go through the notebooks or whatever.
Yeah, because Super Meat Boy was actually his 30th game that he had made.
Jeez.
Yeah, the dude is crazy prolific, and he makes all kinds of weird stuff. And like there was a game, he's had significant loss and trauma in his life, and one of the games that he made was like you start off as a character, and then you're trying to find the route to your sister who died, and like it's this really weird, he makes personal games.
Yes.
And yeah, and I would love to get to sit down with him and just talk about those and see what he's working on, because it might not ever see the light of day. Like you were talking about, seeing the next Diablo or whatever it is they're working on, we'll get to see it eventually.
Yeah, you might not.
With Ed McMillan, I might never get to see what he worked on last week.
That's true.
And yeah, and then with From, it's the same situation as you were talking about. I want to know the lore. I want to. Okay. Yes, Miyazaki, you said there are multiple interpretations, but what's yours?
Yes.
And I would really enjoy getting to sit down with him. And my current theory is that there's different ideas on kind of the theme of each game, because Demon Souls has a theme. The Dark Souls individually have themes for their selected games, and then overall, the timeline, the way that all this is presented, I believe that it's about the heat death of the universe and the cyclical nature of that. Maybe. And then Bloodborne is on a cosmic level about the what is it, dang it, like basically the higher you reach on the evolution scale, the less you procreate, because like fleas and amoebas, like they just go constantly. And like rats and mice. But as you get more evolved and more intelligent, your offspring needs more of a jumping off point. They need to be insulated and protected and kept, so that they reach a point where they can survive in this environment in which we've evolved to.
Yeah.
And that's the whole basis of Bloodborne. The Great Ones have evolved to a place that they are no longer able to have offspring. They have to take on a surrogate.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to talk about, because I believe that all of his games are based on that. Bloodborne is the only one that we have actually confirmed from him, and that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, it could be really interesting. I would say Dark Souls definitely does have to do with that cyclical nature. The heat death of the universe is a good example of that as well. I don't know if he was directly going to that, but yeah. It'd be interesting stuff.
So that's who I would want to tour. So let us know in the comments on YouTube. Send us a tweet on Twitter. Let us know who you would like to see and why. And if you can't fit it into a tweet, because you really can't fit much into a tweet, send us an email. thisweekatourcollectiveheads@gmail.com.
Yep.
Yeah, just reach out to us. Post on the Facebook.
Definitely.
That's another option.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube comments, everything.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. Who you would tour? Would you tour Bethesda? Would you tour Dice? Who's your thing? Is Treyarch? Would you tour Treyarch? Let us know. See you guys later.